So Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, the two little hucksters from Montecito, they're going crawling back to the UK.
Witness intimidation, dishonesty, fraud, and conspiracy. Those are some of the allegations against Prince Harry and his legal team.
Meghan Markle's insane list of diva demands absolutely went viral, so much so that Meghan has apparently hit back at the claims. Are you sitting down for
literally plotting to return to the United Kingdom, a country that she has decried as racist?
Sussex team, there's the Sussex PR team, as they can
yeah, the PR team, yeah.
Some highly manipulative storylines to try to pressure the royal family.
We're talking about today. Well, I'm going to be giving some insight into this crazy woman and her demands. This is how inflated her big head is. Meghan is making some very unreasonable demands.
Hey, Michael, good morning. Yeah, Prince Harry's court case against Associated Newspapers, that's the publisher behind the Daily Mail, is set to begin Monday, and ABC News understands that Prince Harry will be there on opening day.
Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, an exclusive in The Sun on Sunday, Rafe. Meg's summer return. The Duchess of Sussex is planning to return to the United Kingdom for the first time in 4 years. Meghan is due to join hubby Prince Harry at an Invictus Games event in Birmingham.
Why the comparisons with Princess Diana should end for the Princess of Wales.
And the Sussex camp is in Operation Security Overdrive, pulling out all the manipulative tactics you can imagine.
Meghan Markle's list of royal demands is wild. Also, her first product of 2026, a leather bookmark?
Harry's trial in some great detail on how it was structured, why the journalists have not been in court and why they are not being questioned, and some general guidance on how cross-examination works.
Really is the end of the American dream, as Prince Harry's propagandists at Us Weekly admit not only is he losing it, totally full of what they describe as anxiety.
Hold on tight, because this is about to get wild. Prince Harry, everyone's favorite royal rebel, is heading back to the UK, but don't get it twisted, it's not a royal homecoming. Oh no, this is no fairy tale. His massive court battle with the Daily Mail is slowly falling apart like a cheap house of cards. And we're not talking about a minor slip-up here. We're talking about fraud, witness intimidation, forged signatures, the works. And here's the jaw dropper: if Harry loses, he's facing a whopping $38 million bill. Yep, you heard that right, 38 million pounds. And just to spice things up, this whole fiasco is happening just as Harry and Meghan try to worm their way back into royal circles using wounded veterans as their shields. Stick with me here, because when I start connecting the dots, you'll see just how deep this game goes. Now, let's dive into this mess. Harry's suing the Daily Mail's parent company, Associated Newspapers, over allegations that journalists were up to no good over 20 years ago. We're talking private investigators planting listening devices in cars, hacking phones, tapping into private conversations, the whole shifty operation. Harry's not in this alone, though. He's roped in a handful of celebs: Elton John, Baroness Lawrence, and a few others. The trial? Oh, it's set to last a whole 9 weeks of back and forth testimony, evidence, and cross-examinations. It's an absolute circus.
To Prince Harry, back in court battling the tabloids. He's expected to return to the UK next week for a lawsuit against the publishers of the Daily Mail.
But wait, hold on. This is where things take a real nasty turn. The Daily Mail's legal team is coming out swinging, and not with kid gloves. No, they're accusing Harry's legal squad of dishonesty, fraud, and conspiracy. They're not just throwing shade, they've got some seriously heavy accusations. The centerpiece of their case? A witness statement from a guy named Gavin Burrows, a private investigator who was supposed to be the star witness in Harry's case. But here's where it gets insane. Burrows is now claiming that the statement attributed to him, dated back in August 2021, was forged. And not only that, his signature? Total forgery. How about that for a plot twist? The very testimony that was supposed to launch this whole case? Completely bogus. So what does that mean? If this turns out to be true, we're not talking about a simple legal mix-up, we're talking full-blown fraud.
If they lose this case, the cost is quite high, to the tunes of tens of millions of pounds. This is an absolute disaster. And one witness is so scared he won't even tell either side where he is currently living. My suggestion would be to Harry and anybody associated with this case is to just pack up and move.
But it doesn't stop there. The drama gets darker. Burrows is now so terrified of the fallout that he's hiding his location. That's right, he's not even telling anyone where he is. He's afraid for his life. And this isn't just a gut feeling. His lawyer told the court that Burrows believes giving testimony could put him in real danger. And here's where it gets even murkier. Rumors are swirling about witness intimidation. Get this, Burrows was contacted by a reporter from Byline Times, which, let's be real, is practically Meghan and Harry's personal PR squad at this point. The journalist allegedly warned him that they were about to publish an article about him. Burrows interpreted that as a direct attempt to intimidate him before he could testify. This is getting soap opera level crazy.
We are dealing with lawyers, and lawyers like to sue, and Harry likes to sue. So let's just be extra careful today. So let's go ahead and start talking about the craziness of this case. And there's been a lot of allegations flying around about, like, a lot of it really having to do with sort of witness intimidation when the witnesses is just simply petrified of everybody, it seems like. We also have, of course, dishonesty, fraud, paying for witnesses, these sorts of things, which just makes Harry's case look, it just makes it look bad and distasteful. And why he's bringing this case is he's claiming he's trying to, you could argue, fix the British press system. Because, you know, it's against him and his wife. So the whole system must be bad if people don't agree with him and his wife.
But the nightmare doesn't end there. Hold your breath, because we're about to drop another bombshell. One of Harry's own lawyers? Graham Johnson, a convicted phone hacker who used to work for the now defunct News of the World. Let that sink in. So, Harry is suing for privacy invasion while his own legal team includes a guy who was once convicted for exactly that. Is this some twisted joke, or are we really watching this unfold in real time?
So another development ahead of the 9-week trial, which cost £38 million, by the way. They had to have a separate hearing just to make sure everybody knew that they may have to pay millions upon millions of dollars for this case if they lose. Because at least when it comes to Harry here in this instance, like, everybody, I guess, is insured for about £2 million. But if the damages or whatever, or the costs go above that, they might have to be on the hook for all of it. Or let's say Harry, who's spearheading this, gets bumped off the case, like he wins his case, but everybody else loses, then they're stuck with £38 million. Like, this is just a lose-lose scenario. I just don't understand how any of these people think this is a good idea. I mean, more money than sense, I gotta tell them. The court heard that Gavin Burrows, a private investigator who disputed evidence was instrumental in persuading many of the claimants to sue, believes there has been a blatant attempt to intimidate him on the eve of the trial.
The plot thickens even more when we look at the accusations from the Daily Mail side. They claim that several of Harry's witnesses were paid for their testimony. Now, when you hear paid witnesses, alarm bells should be ringing. If you're paying people for their testimony, how much can you really trust what they're saying? It's like a court drama where every witness is being bought and sold. But the real kicker is the cost. The total cost of this 9-week trial? A staggering $38 million. This isn't just some petty lawsuit. This is a financial black hole. The court had to hold a special hearing just to make sure everyone involved knew that if they lose, they're going to have to pay up big time. And I mean big time. Can you even imagine the stress? Harry's flying back to the UK for the opening of the trial, and he's due to testify in just a few days. But don't hold your breath for a slam dunk victory, because the Daily Mail's lawyers are planning to drop a bombshell of their own, accusing Harry's team of some seriously shady behavior. One of their lawyers, David Sherborne, is already warning that the publisher plans to make exceptionally serious allegations against the claimant's legal team. And get this, they might even accuse Harry's legal team of dishonesty, fraud, and professional misconduct. How messy is that? Now, if that's not enough of a nightmare, let's talk about the price of failure in a civil case. In the UK, if you lose a civil lawsuit, you not only have to pay your own legal fees, you also have to cover the defendant's costs. So, in this case, if Harry loses, he could be responsible for the Daily Mail's massive legal bills. And get this, most of the claimants have insurance to cover up to $2 million in legal costs. But what happens if the costs exceed that? They could be left personally liable for millions more. Imagine that. Harry, Meghan, and their celebrity pals could be drowning in legal debt. But the real kicker? What if Harry somehow wins his case, but the other 6 claimants lose theirs? Can you even picture that? Harry walks away with his victory while his friends are left holding the bag. So, it's not just Harry's future on the line, it's everyone else's too. And here's where things get extra sticky. Remember the Invictus Games. Harry is supposedly planning to return to the UK in July for a countdown event in Birmingham. But, and this is a big but, Meghan's attendance depends on a list of very specific conditions. Yep, that's right. Meghan might only attend if she gets the royal treatment, complete with armed security, bulletproof glass, and 4 floors of hotel rooms shut down for her entourage. This is not about the veterans, it's all about Meghan and her endless PR demands. But wait, it gets even worse. At a previous Invictus event in Canada, veterans actually wanted Meghan to leave early because they were fed up with her stealing the spotlight. Now, there are reports that veterans in the UK are threatening to boycott if Meghan shows up. They know this isn't about honoring them, it's about Meghan using them as props for her own media circus. It's honestly disgusting. And just when you think it couldn't get any more ridiculous, here's the cherry on top. Meghan's father, Thomas Markle, just had his leg amputated. He's in the hospital, and what's Meghan doing? Not visiting him, not calling him. Instead, she's planning to show up at the Invictus Games and pretend to care about wounded veterans. The hypocrisy is beyond words. And the irony? European royalty refuses to attend the Invictus Games because they don't want to take away from the focus on the veterans. But Meghan and Harry, they want to make it all about them, complete with a PR stunt and an expensive security detail. It's nauseating. It's beyond cringe. But let's zoom out for a second and think about the bigger picture. Meghan is demanding bulletproof glass, luxury cars, and endless security, all while using the Invictus Games as her personal stage. Meanwhile, Harry's legal case is unraveling, and his whole career is built on drama and lawsuits. They're both so addicted to the attention that they'll burn through millions of pounds and destroy anyone who gets in their way just to stay relevant. What a mess. Now, let's get back to the absurdity of this whole situation. We're still knee-deep in Harry's legal nightmare, and I'm about to drop more bombshells than a Hollywood blockbuster. So, what happens when you've been suing newspapers for years, trying to make a case for invasion of privacy, while simultaneously spilling the most intimate details of your life for the whole world to see? Well, you get a royal mess. A massive, shiny mess that no one can ignore. So let's talk about Harry's strategy here. Harry's entire case revolves around the argument that the British press has violated his privacy, especially over the years of scandal, paparazzi photos, and alleged phone hacking. But here's the kicker. Harry is the one who spilled more tea than any tabloid could ever dream of. He's written a whole book, Spare, where he aired dirty laundry no one asked for. He's done the Oprah interview talking about everything from his family's dysfunction to his frostbitten penis. Yes, you read that right. And let's not forget his Netflix documentary where he basically handed the world a magnifying glass to his life. So, here's the real question. How can Harry sue the press for exposing his life when he's the one who handed them the story on a silver platter? It's almost as if he's trying to play both sides of the game, blame the media for invading his privacy while simultaneously putting everything out there. And don't even get me started on the most cringe-worthy details of his life. Who needed to know about his private parts and the weird, almost incestuous connection he claims to have had with his mom's favorite cream at his brother's wedding? Is this really about protecting his privacy, or is it about money, revenge, and stroking his fragile ego? Let's be clear here. Harry has made a fortune off his own misery. But when he gets sued, he plays the victim and blames the media for his decisions. It's the ultimate manipulation, screen privacy invasion, but don't hesitate to sell your soul for Netflix, books, and interviews that have brought in millions. What a paradox. He wants the privacy and the paycheck at the same time. Now, back to the legal circus that's currently in motion. The more we dig into this, the more bizarre it gets. The court case is set to start Monday, and Harry's supposed to testify on Thursday. But let's be honest here, there's a good chance he'll try to settle before that happens. Why? Well, because if he actually goes through with this trial, it's going to be a disaster. The other side is going to bring up every shady detail about his case, like the paid witnesses, the forged signatures, the fact that Harry's suing newspapers for invading his privacy while he's been the one broadcasting every detail of his life. It's like setting yourself on fire and then complaining about the smoke. I'll be honest here, if Harry goes through with it, it's going to be brutal. The Daily Mail is ready to rip him apart in cross-examination, and we all know that Harry isn't exactly the sharpest tool in the shed when it comes to handling tough questions. What's he going to say? How does he justify all his actions when he's been using the media to sell his personal narrative? It's like a game of chess where Harry has no idea the other side is playing 10 moves ahead of him. But here's the real kicker. What if Harry does somehow win his individual claim? What if, by some miracle, he pulls it off? Well, the fallout will be just as messy. If the other 6 claimants lose their cases, Harry Harry will walk away with the win, but he'll do so while his friends are left picking up the pieces. So much for solidarity, huh? But even if Harry wins, the cost of this case is astronomical. He's not just losing money, he's losing credibility. How do you look the public in the eye after this colossal disaster? How do you walk away with any dignity when it's all so clearly about your own ego and thirst for revenge? And here's something you may not have thought about. Let's take a moment to talk about the ears. Yes, the ears. You've probably heard about their ongoing investigation into Harry and Meghan's charity, Archewell. And guess what? The numbers aren't adding up. They're spending way more than they're taking in, and people are starting to ask some serious questions. Where's the money going? Well, one thing's for sure, it's not going to veterans, despite Harry and Meghan's constant PR stunts. So when you're wrapped up in a scandal, fighting a lawsuit, A&D potentially dealing with tax investigations, it's clear that the game isn't working in their favor. And while all this is happening, the Invictus Games, which was once Harry's pet project, has turned into a real thorn in his side. The event was supposed to honor wounded veterans, right? But instead, it's quickly becoming a showcase for Meghan and Harry's need to be seen as important to feel special. They want bulletproof glass, a fleet of luxury cars, and enough security to protect the head of state. Are we seriously watching this unfold? They're trying to turn a veteran event into their personal PR spectacle, and the worst part is, people are finally seeing through it. The veterans themselves are tired of being used as pawns in this twisted game. They're sick of having their suffering exploited for Meghan and Harry's media agenda. But it gets worse. You would think that, with all the millions they're spending, Harry and Meghan would at least take a moment to show some empathy. Nope. Meghan's father, Thomas Markle, has just had his leg amputated, and she hasn't bothered to visit him. But she'll happily show up at Invictus, posing for photo ops with wounded veterans, pretending to care. The hypocrisy is mind-blowing, and the fact that she's demanding so much security for herself while playing the victim card, telling us how unsafe she feels while making sure her royal title is used at every turn, it's beyond ridiculous. Let's zoom out for a second and look at the pattern. Meghan's demands for security, Harry's constant lawsuits, their never-ending PR games, it's all leading to one inevitable conclusion. These two are sinking deeper into a hole of their own making. Whether it's using the Invictus Games as a backdrop for their PR stunt or fighting this never-ending court case, the fact remains they've become their own worst enemies, and no one else is to blame for this mess. What's next for Harry and Meghan? Well, if I had to guess, Harry will likely settle. He'll try to save face, take whatever deal he can, and spin it as some kind of victory. But in the end, the truth will be undeniable. The real loser here isn't just the media, it's Harry. He's fighting battles he can't win, alienating everyone around him, and watching as his life falls apart. The public is tired of the circus, and even though they might pretend to care, they're really just waiting for it to all implode. Mark my words, this whole thing is going to get ugly, and we're all just along for the ride. You can bet that when the trial starts on Monday and Harry steps into that courtroom, we'll be seeing fireworks. Will he actually testify, or will he back out before it gets too ugly? Either way, I don't think we've seen the last of the drama yet. But hey, keep watching. This train wreck is far from over, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Want to miss what's coming next. Want to miss what's coming next. Want to miss what's coming.